Hello, peep. Welcome to Comic Book Investment Chat. I don't expect that many people to be up and about, so if you see this or watch this later, thank you for tuning in. Um, Beautiful day here. Gorgeous, clear sky. Not not a cloud in the sky, as you can see. This is natural lighting. Whew, gorgeous day. Just the kind of weather I love. Plus, it is a little bit crisp outside. I think the temperature, let me check what the temperature is right now in Sarasota. Let me see. What is the weather? 54 degrees. Yeah, a nice day. I did not turn on the heat right now. I think the temperature in the house is 68-ish. But welcome to the chat. It is Saturday at 8:30, so I figure I'm not doing anything. Anthony is still sleeping, and my wife is away visiting actually, her sister came down. My wife is a twin, and her sister came down and took her out for breakfast with her bum ankle. So she's out and about. So I figure I have nothing else to do. Why not do a chat and talk about the market? Hello, Louis. Needless to say, the worst case scenario is creeping as far as what I talked about a couple weeks ago, how I felt that, the virus, if it does not get resolved quickly, within a couple weeks, it can bleed into the economy, and then we have much more problem. Hello, Jim, or Jam Session. And that's what we are facing right now. Okay, we are facing an issue right now where we could face a bigger problem in the U.S. Forget China. Okay, we don't need to talk about China or globally, but what's more important is now it is here. It's creating problems, disruptions. Not a good thing for those that pay attention to the stock market. Ugly. Okay. Morning, Tony. Uh, Thank you, Louis. I just load CGC Hall video. If you haven't seen it, go and watch that one whenever you can. So yeah, it's and one of the things that I want to talk about as far as the market, both the stock market and the comic book market, is that one of the trend of phenomenon or whatever you want to call it that happen in every market downturn. When the market go down 5-10% at least, usually what happen is there are some stuff that didn't go down or go down little. Usually in the beginning of the downturn, that's what you see. Okay, for those that saw the thumbnail, I put in the term "throw the baby out with the bathwater." It's an old saying. I heard this. I'm sure all of us have heard this talk about before, right? Has anybody not heard of "throw the baby out of the bathwater"? Has anyone? If you're young, I can understand it, but if anyone that is in their 40s or older, I think you have heard that a few times, right? Pardon my coffee breaks. And so, in a natural market decline, you usually see that kind of selling. People sell the junk first. Okay, it's natural to sell your bad position first and hold on to the winners, hold on to the good companies. That's why a lot of the good company stock either didn't go down or go down less. But when panic is heightened, as we have right now in the current stock market, it is the baby. It is that moment where you see the baby is getting thrown out with the bath. It doesn't matter. Okay, if you look at the stock market or pay attention to the stock market the past couple of days, As of this point, I think the S&P 500 is down 13%. Okay. At the worst, last week it was down 15%. It gyrated up and down three. It was one of the most volatile week we have had in the stock market in many decades. By that I mean you see 3% up, 3% down, 4% up, 2% down, 5% down. It's crazy. I have been involved with the stock market for 30 years, and I can't recall seeing a stock market that go up 2 to 3% or more on a daily basis, up and down for literally over 10 days, 10 trading days. It's crazy. Yes, Tony, it is. It is starting to hurt the business everywhere, everywhere. Okay, um, and it's when it comes down to fear, it's hard to talk reasons into fear. Okay, and the stock market is a perfect example of how emotion capture the whole market. You get fear and greed, and right now we have fear. Everything is so fearful. And for those that have been with the stock market long enough, if you go back 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, whatever dip, whatever recession, whatever stock market crash, in the long run, you are okay. The worst thing you can do, the worst thing you can do is sell right now because you're so fearful of a recession and then not get back in the market. If you're lucky and good, you can sell right now. If the market go down 10% more, you can buy lower and then ride up on the big run. Okay, those are the perfect scenario for those that are good and lucky at the same time. But for most people that can't move as fast, a lot of people are frozen in fear. And because of that, my advice to a lot of people is do nothing. Okay, do nothing. If you worry right now, just turn off the computer. Just turn off CNBC. Just don't watch the financial news. Don't read the Wall Street Journal. Because in a few years, in 2 years, this will be just a blip. Okay? Now, if this turn much worse and turn, as I spoke about 2 weeks ago in my past chat, we do not want to see this thing go into April. Whatever is going on with this virus, we do not need to see this go into April, mid-April. That's the last thing the stock market want to see. Mark my words. Mark my words. If a vaccine or methods of helping to get rid of the virus and reduce the death rates, if something like that, a combo of that, is not present a month from now, so we're talking about mid-April, the market would be 10% or more lower. Mark my word. Mark my word. I will be the first one to come back in 4 weeks and said I was wrong. If that is not the scenario, if a month from now, and we still have no vaccine, and we still have no cure, no treatment, and the market is higher, I will be the first one to come on and a chat and said I was wrong. Okay? But the worst case scenario is coming closer to fruition, and I don't want to see that because it's not a healthy thing for everyone. Because trust me, as I mentioned in the last chat, if economies slow down, business are hurting, what do they do? What does every business do when things slow down like it is? Lay off people. Okay. So all the people that was hoping for a comic book market crash, like I said many times, be ready. You might be calling mama before you think that, oh, good, this book is down 30%. Now I can buy it on the cheap. You might be calling mama because you don't have a job. So let's not even go there, okay? Because bad economy will wreck this hobby faster than you can believe. And if you had cash on the side, like Rag718 is talking about in the chat, now is not a bad time to buy some. Did I buy some yesterday? Yes, I did. What did I buy? MasterCards. I bought some MasterCards lower than the current price. So I bought it lower. I bought it near the most fearful time of the market yesterday before lunchtime. I bought some MasterCards and I bought a little bit of the S&P 500, the the index. So just a nibble. Okay, I still get plenty of cash left, but is people gonna stop using the credit cards 3 years from now? Sure, credit card usage will decline in the next until this thing decline. You will see a decline in people using credit cards. That's a no-brainer, right? People stop going out to eat. People travel less. Is it a shocker that people use the credit card less? But is it going to stop people from reusing their credit card in a couple months when everything is back to normal, regardless of how bad the economy is? So yeah, I like MasterCard. I like Visa. I already have some Visa, a little bit of Visa, so I didn't add to Visa, but I asked to MasterCard. Do I like to buy some financial like PayPal and Square stocks? I'm watching closely. PayPal, Square is on my watch list. I have, I haven't buy any. What else did I put on my watch list? I have not buy yet. A lot of social media company, yes. Like Facebook and Amazon and Twitter and there's a whole bunch. There's a whole bunch of social media company that is high on my watch list. I'm not buying yet, but I will. Hello, Thomas Churchill. So we are right now at the moment where it's throw out the baby with the bath as far as the stock market, even though we are nowhere near the bottom. But because the fear is high. When the fear is this high, people are blowing out a lot of position. Okay, it's also a big part of this is the index. A lot of people now invest with the index. So if you invest in the S&P 500 and you decided that you want to reduce that position because of the fear, guess what? It's throw out with the bathwater time. Okay, that's why, because the Apple, the Amazon, the Facebook, all the good stocks, they all in the S&P 500, many of them. So if a big part of the investing communities decided to go 10% cash or whatever cash balance they want, and they sell in the S&P 500, guess what? Then it throw out the baby with the bath. Okay, so if you have stocks that you like to buy, now is the time to watch them closely, put them on your watch list, because the greatest return can be had when greatest fear presents. Okay, so get ready. Good times. Okay, as bad as that is, I always remind people of the opportunities that lays ahead if there is a 10% down move. Now, let's transfer over to the comic book market. One of the things that is very different in the comic book market the past 14, 15 months, okay? or year and a half. You can go back to the last Avengers movie. Some people would say that, after Endgame, that was the beginning of the end. Some people say Endgame have more meaning than just the movie. It's Endgame for the hobby. Um, when I hear something like that or read something like that, I just shake my head because I'm just like, complete effing nonsense. But hey, people can believe what they want to believe. Regardless, what is different about the comic book market downturn compared to the stock market downturn is that the downturn that we see over the past year and a half, okay, has been widespread. It's not throw out with the bath situation. It's not like people are holding on to the big keys. It's not like people are holding on to the good books and let go of the junk. It's not that at all. If you really pay attention, that's why the big books like the Amazing Fantasy 15, the Hope 181, many books, okay, it has been bleeding through a lot of the big keys for the past year and a half. Okay, it's not isolated to the junk. Okay, the junk got blown out a long time ago. Okay, by junk I mean a lot of the hot spec books that had to do with the TV shows. Those got blown out 3 years ago. Nobody talked about that. Okay, nobody talked about the speculation market crashing with those books. But as far as what we see in the past year and a half, there is a throw out with the baby with the bath thing for a year and a half. Big books has been going down. There is no disputing that the Amazing Fantasy 15 and many big books has been going down, however little or however much, for the past year and a half. So why is that? Why is people? Why is the stock? Why is the comic book market behaves different than the stock market? Why is that? In the stock market, on a downturn, the good stuff tend to stick around and stay okay for a while until the fear become too high, and then people have to sell even the good stuff. Okay, why is that the comic book market didn't have that? Why is the baby got thrown out with the bath moment happened long ago? Why is that? I thought about that, okay, and one of the possible reasons, not that I know, one of the possible reason is a lot of the big books have been in weak hands. Okay, I talk about weak hands many times already on this channel. When big books are in hands of people that didn't really have the money to own them in the first place, they borrow, they leverage, they use credit card, they use credits, they go into debt. When big books are in weak hands, guess what? They get blown out long before the fear is high. It doesn't take much. It doesn't take much for the weak hands to be fearful. And I think that's what we got the past year and a half. It's an example of, when the market is going up, okay, for 3 years from 2016 through mid 2018, the market was booming, okay, booming, irrational booming. Nonsense, a whole lot of nonsense. And it's easy for some speculators to, hey, I'm gonna borrow $20,000 to buy Amazing Fantasy 15 because it keep going up. I can buy a 3.5 for $20,000. It's gonna be a $25,000 book or $30,000 book in 1 year. Well, guess what? That didn't happen. And the moment that book even lose 5,000, it create the panic. Okay, it doesn't take much, and we all know how much Amazing Fantasy 15 has declined over the past year and a half. So if you borrow to buy that book at 25,000, thinking that you can make a lot of profit when a book go to 30 or 35,000 and the book turns south, woo, yeah, fear become a reality very fast. That's the definition of a weak hand. Okay, so I think the the big difference between the stock market, as far as the big stuff, the good stuff hanging on and not get obliterated, compared to the comic market where a lot of big books got blown up as well, is that a lot of the big books are not in strong hands. They are in hands of people that cannot keep them. They cannot wait out. People that buy these things on credits, they don't have a vision of like, gee, the market's gonna turn around in a year, 2, 3, 5. Can I wait? Can I wait 3 years for the book to break even while I'm paying 10%, 20% interest on my credit card? Can you do that? Well, you know the answer. The answer is no. If people can wait, they would, instead of blowing things out at a loss. Okay, we don't need to know for sure who lost money, but those books that declined the past year and a half surely hurt a bunch of people that paid more for those books 2 years ago. So yeah, when it comes down to the stock market and the comic market, even though there is some similarities in both, there are sometimes things that get me to raise my eyes, because I'm just like, wow, not what I expected, But now that we have that fear moment heightened with the stock market, it's definitely throw the baby out with the bath water moment in the stock market, because you can't have a broad decline of everything, literally everything, Not that I am fearful, okay? I understand how the mechanics of the market works, so I can sit back and watch the market behave and it's play out insane. It shows its hands on how fearful people are. And right here in Sarasota, we have a case of coronavirus in the hospital. Okay, my God, people was freaking out the last couple of days. The schools are freaking out. I got phone calls from the school talking about being vigilant with hygienes and all that stuff. And yeah, even here in Little Sarasota, we have a case of coronavirus. In Florida, I believe there are 2 deaths with the virus so far, 2, and one, I believe, I could, I don't pay attention to all the little details, because my wife and all her friends are in the hysteria stage. Everyone is. One of my wife's friends called her yesterday in hysteria because she went to multiple Walgreens, Costco, CVS, and she could not find any sanitizer, all blown out. She stopped at 6 different stores in the morning before lunch, and every place are clear of sanitizer of any sort. OMG. Okay, it's here's a funny thing. The fear create a short-term boost in sales of things like hand sanitizer, tissue, everything that people worry about. But be mindful if you are going to invest in company that, like, I would not be recommending people to, like, the big jump in sales at CVS or Walgreens in hand sanitizer and tissue is a good long-term thing. No. If you stock up, if you hoard those things, be mindful that those people, if they don't use them, they will not buy those things for the next 2 or 3 years. So whatever sales that those businesses pull forward with the hysteria may be a bad thing to compare later. And the same opposite can go with businesses that lost business because of the fear. If you are Starbucks, okay, and you're hurting because you had to shut down 1,000 store in China for 3 weeks or 2 months or whatever time frame it was, well, guess what? Those sales are gone. Whatever sales you miss out in the closure of your store are gone. There is no pull forward, okay? Just because you reopen the store tomorrow in any area, tell you what, if I go to Starbucks once a week and then for 2 months I cannot go because of the fear, the shutdown, and then they reopen Starbucks, do you think I'm gonna go to Starbucks and now recoup the 8 cups of coffee that I missed out in the 2 months it closed down? Think about that, okay? It doesn't. Whatever sales are gone are gone. Okay, they're gone. Now, certain things with this hysteria are worth watching, like say Facebook, a stock I really high on as far as wanting to add to my portfolio. How does this thing impact Facebook or Twitter? Is people is gonna use less of Facebook, or no? They're not gonna use less Facebook. They're not gonna use less Netflix. They're not gonna use less Twitter. They're not gonna. There's a lot of things that they don't use less. Okay. So those are the business. If the stocks go down, I tell people keep your eye close on them because they will suffer less in sales decline than the businesses that are impacted directly, like Disney, closure of the park. Remember 2 weeks ago when I have a chat, and someone in the chat asked me about Disney, and I said, hell no, I wouldn't touch it. Guess what? It's still hell no, I would not touch it because Disney is. Can you imagine Disney not able to show a movie in China? Yeah. When a quarter of your revenue of a movie can be coming from China. Yeah, it's the second biggest market. No, it's not a good thing. All the park closure, like I said, you close a park for a month. When you reopen it, you're not gonna pull demand forward. Okay, you're not gonna have people like rush into Disney because I missed out on going to Disney last month. No, you miss out. You forget about it. You're done. You're not gonna go to Disney. If you plan to go on Disney, you will eventually, but no, it's not a good thing for some businesses. Anyhow, I look at the clock. It's 9 o'clock. I'm gonna keep this chat short, unless there's other question. Otherwise, I plan end it in a few minutes. Class, hello. Thank you for doing this. It is one of my only true ways of learning from people who have been doing this longer than me. Well, much appreciated. When it comes down to this hobby, I it's it's just bad timing in that I decided to slow down last year, to exit the hobby, to buy less, and it just happened to be coincide with the crash in the market. And so, some people will read into this like, oh, he's quitting the hobby, he's leaving the hobby because the market is bad, he's giving up on the books. That's not the case. I have talked about plan on leaving the hobbies. In fact, I have been selling so many books in the past few years, 3 years on YouTube. So it's not like it happened last year and I decided to leave the hobby because the market is bad. No, it just happened that the poor market coincide with my plan on the exit. That's it. I buy less, a lot less, because at the end of the day, I don't want to sell. Like I said, selling is more work than buying. So, and now that the market is weak, it's certainly tougher, take longer, price lower, less profit. Yes, all of that is all true for those that participate in this comic flipping hobby. But it's still there. Trust me, if you watch my Art of the Flip CGC haul that I load this morning, you will see that that book, that Showcase 60, that I got a 9.6. Trust me, I paid 200 with the slabbing cost. I need to check the number, but I'm pretty sure I paid something like $200 for that book, and I'm pretty sure I can sell that book for over $1,000. So I'm not worried. I said this many times on my channel. How much you pay for something matter the most in any market, up or down. Okay, I don't care. I don't care what something is. I don't care what the fair market value of something is. Okay, I do care. If I know what the fair market value of something is, but if I can buy something a third of the price, less than half of the price, I'm pretty sure I would do fine in any condition. It might take longer to flip. It might take longer to sell the book, but at the end of the day, that's why I preach entry points mean everything. Stocks are books to buy to flip, or books to buy for your collection. No matter what, entry point is critical. The last thing that I'd like to hear from many collectors is, I don't care what I pay for that book. It's gonna stay in my collection forever until I don't care. So I just want it. I'm just gonna head shaking kind of moment for me when I hear that kind of talk. Okay, if you don't care, go ahead and overpay. Just don't bitch about it later when you think that you overpay or the book is down a lot compared to what you pay for. Care. Okay, a big solution on how to not be poor is not be financial irresponsible. Care a little bit. All right, care what you pay for something every day, and you might find that you do a lot better with your pocket. Holy cow, I wish all college or high school would force mandatory on financial responsibility on people, just like algebra or English 101 or history 101. There need to be a personal finance 101 where every freshman in college need to learn some personal responsibility. I don't care. 3 of my most hated words coming out of anyone's mouth. Okay? In fact, I told my son I don't want to hear from him. Coke Glass asks, what's your best resource for finding fair market value on books? Well, I use GP analysis for a slab book, because my strategy, if you're new to the channel, is that I like to buy raw books and slap them and sell them in the CGC case. So my source for fair market value is GPA or eBay. recent eBay sales as far as slabs. Okay, once I know what a CGC value can be of any particular grade, then I know what kind of price I'm willing to pay for any raw books. You know, that's it. There is no secret or magic to how I do it. In fact, if you're new to the channel, you can go back last year and watch my path to a silver age key. I outline every single purchase and sales that I did over a span of 8 months, something like that. It was a lot of work for me to do that, but that's why I ended the series, because it was more hassle than it's worth. But you can see how I buy the book on eBay. That was a big reason. My big reason to do that series is to illustrate to everyone that there is no magic to what I'm doing. I can find deals, good books to flip on eBay. Okay, not some secret honey hole anywhere. It is eBay. I did this consistently on dozens of books. I flipped for double, for triple, sometimes even home run. I only had one loser in the pack. It's um, and by all means, how I approach things is not the only path to success. I have known many people that do different things. I just know I do things my way, because a big part of what I do, for those that are new to the channel, is that I don't go to conventions. I don't go hunt at garage sales or yard sales. I don't go to flea market. I don't go to LCS, you name it. I do it all at home. And I want to show people that it can be done, because a lot of people is just like, oh, I can't buy stuff online, I can't grade, I can't trust eBay, I can't. There's a lot of I can't. Okay, that's a two word that I don't use. I can't is not in my vocabulary. I do use I can't or I don't care in certain situations, but overall, yes, you can. Okay, because I can. Um, what was I going to say? I was just to include something in that last segment about my methods. Oh, quick housekeeping before I forget. Thank you for everybody that participated in the auctions over the past 2 months. Yeah, it was a lot of work to grade, shoot the videos, run the auction, invoice people, get paid, and then pack the books and ship the books. Okay, I did, I think between Christmas and last week, there was 5 auctions or 4. I can't. Regardless, it was roughly 200 books, 200 raw books left the collection, including 50 something. Well, including 50 books of my brother's collections. So much kudos to everyone that bid on those books for him. I still have the 5 slabs that I sent to CGC that I need to sell. It's too bad because of this coronavirus. Because my brother contacted me last month. He's like, "Dude, I don't have any plan in May. Maybe I come down in May and we can hang out and you can show me your collection and the books and all that stuff." And I would have him appear in the chat with me. I can do a brother to brother live chat. At the same time, show him some eye candy books from the vault and talk about the hobby, and you guys can ask him questions and stuff like that. But unfortunately, he contacted me yesterday that the coronavirus, I guess, was now in Boston, and they are probably going to do some quarantine on traveling and all that stuff. So he could not buy the tickets. He told me that the plan to go down and hang out with me for a week in May maybe postponed until another time. So now that the auction is over, I'm likely would take the rest of March off. It was a lot of work. Okay, for those that pay attention, my plan was to sell 400-ish books over the next 4 years, 5 years, so that I will reduce my collection from 3,000 to 1,000. Okay, so that was the plan, and I'm already halfway there. It's only March, so I can take at least all of March off. How about April and May? Maybe. Okay, for sure, I will restart the auction and selling the books again, probably in late May, early June, but that would be the earliest. I have a potential private deal with a viewer that want to buy a bunch of books directly from me without going to the auction. That deal might go through. If that deal go through, I might meet my goal soon. Okay, because there's a couple hundred books that he's interested in buying, so we'll see. I told him that I will look at the books, grade the books, and give him a price. If he say yes to the price, then I will pack the books, and then the goal for the entire year would have been met. So, hey, I'm excited about that because, like I said, I don't mind selling, but it is work. Oasis Consulting. No, is it Oasis or Ocasio? Ocasio Consulting. I look at volume to help determine future movement. I shot a video on myth busting that I haven't loaded yet, but I can talk about it here because not everybody watch everything, so I can be repetitive. I had a comment recently on my market report. When I did the market report, I talk about how poor the market has been, and one viewer wrote about how I'm gonna paraphrase what he wrote, but he talked about how so many books are sold on eBay. So in many ways, he was trying to tell me that, what are you talking about? We don't have a down market. The market is so vibrant. There are thousands of books sold on eBay. How can that be a bad market when there are thousands of books sold on eBay? It's one of those eye-rolling moments when I'm just like, the worst thing about YouTube or social media is often you, us, have no way of knowing who or how old the other person is. That person that wrote that comment, for all I know, he could have been 20 years old, fairly new, naive, not knowing the market, or he can be somebody my age. But it's really hard to reply to that kind of comments because I don't know. I don't know what kind of experience this person has. I don't know how old this person is, how worldly he is, or how naive he is. And so I make the video, which I will load someday. But I make the video and I talk about volume and a healthy market. Can anybody tell me in general when, like last week, the last 2 weeks in the stock market, when we are having big problem and the market is down 13%, can you tell me the volumes of the stock market compared to what it was last year? Can you guess? Guess what? Heavier volume in a down market. There you go. There's the answer. A vibrant market thousands of books are sold, so it can't be a bad market. Nonsense. Live a little, live a little. Okay, that's what I want to say. Live a little, understand how the market works. Sometime in a bad market, that's when the heaviest volume take place. Yeah, that's the truth. Okay, so looking at the volume of how many books are sold on eBay and say that is healthy, the market is healthy because there are thousands of books sold on eBay. Are you kidding me? Live a little. Understand how the dynamics of any market work, and you will see that that statement is just complete nonsense. Yes, it's harsh, but at the same time, like I said, I don't know how old the person is. I don't know what kind of experience this person has lived through to know. Now, in a down market, right? Like right now, you need and see heavy volume. That's expected. I talked about this in another video recently. Eventually, volume will decline. There will be an exhaustion of seller. That is when you can smell the bottom. Okay? Unless you have a V shape. If you have a V shape, quick snapback, that's a different story. But when you have a, a decline with a lot of volatility, a lot of gyration, a lot of volumes, what you need to see is an exhaustion of sellers, declining volume to see the bottom. Okay, so we'll see. I'm watching the volume very, very closely. Hello, John Valenzuela. Anyhow, unless there are other questions, I will end the chat. So as far as housekeeping, um, my brother's not sure about selling the slabs. He understands the market. Okay, he's not a fool. He understands how the comic book market is also weak because of the market. He does not watch my video, by the way. He does not watch my videos, any of my videos. So, but he understand. He hear me talk. I advise him on the state of the market uh, months ago when he sent me the books. So he know that the market is having some trouble, and he can correlate how bad the market is, the stock market is, and the economy and all that stuff. So he understand, that maybe this is not the right time to sell comic books. It might be a while. That being said, if anyone's interested in those books, you can email me, and if the offer is reasonable, keyword reasonable, I might consider it. Okay, there is not going to be any kind of give me a deal, bro. My goal, as I've said it many times on my channel, is to make the most money from my brother, not to give anyone a deal. The deal was given with all the raw books. I think all the raw books was done very well. I appreciate everyone that bought them, but those are good deals. Uh, Hello, Frank Henning. Thanks, Nick. Good chat. John Valenzuela said, I picked up a House of Mystery 175, a key horror books, 9.0, and I paid $350. Did I pay too much? Dudes, I don't know. I'm too lazy to pull up GPA. It's not a book that I buy and flip. So I'm assuming, okay, I am assuming that you did some research before you pay $350. If you didn't, it's on you as far as overpaying for something. But if I had to guess, I say that's probably reasonable because that book in a 9.0 is not common. Okay, it's not. I had an 8.5, I believe. I consigned it and sold it on Comic Link. I know I did last year. Yeah, I have a raw 6.0-ish copy for my collection, but no, I don't know. Uh, let's say John Valenzuela said, yes, I did. So I assume that yeah, so you did. If you did check GPA or whatever it is when you bid at 350, then it is what it is. Once you've done that, if the market go down, it is what it is. Okay, did you overpay? Well, at the time when you buy it, you didn't overpay. But if the book declined over the next 3 or 6 months because of the general market, then it is what it is. It's I always advise people to do their own research before they bid. It floors me occasionally when I talk to people that active in buying CGC slabs and they never heard of GP analysis. It floors me that some people do zero homework when they buy books. Zero. Holy cow. And it's not as if like some of these people can afford to. Okay, not everybody is made of money. Money does not grow on tree for many of these people. But it's a cool book. I gotta have it. Did I overpay? Yes, you did. Who wants to be that kind of messenger? I don't. I got a little bit choked up there. Coke Classic, I picked up a Batman 251 for 350. Once again, I can only assume that you did the homework, but I think for 350, you didn't say the grade, so I'm gonna assume that it is raw. I don't know. If it's raw at 350, I hope it is at least mid-grade, if not upper mid-grade. Okay, like in the 8.0 range or better. Okay, I'm guessing. I don't know. Sequential Geek. Oh, taxes. Oh yeah, we are. Well, we still get about a month away from tax due, right? So yeah, good luck doing your taxes, man. Coke Glass is about 6.5, 350. It's okay, I guess. I was hoping that you get something like in the 8.0 range because then you're in the money. Okay, in the money is in like you bought a book for cheap. That's when you bought. Now, if you pay 350 for 6.0-ish, 6.5-ish, then you know you. I'm not gonna tell you that you got a great deal. Okay, I can tell you for Batman 251, I bought one. I paid 250. I paid 250, and it's in in my one of my CGC Hall, and I got a 7.0. Okay, for those that follow Path to a Key, last year I bought a Batman 251 for like 250. I slab it. It got a 7.0. I showed in my CGC Hall like 2 months ago. It came back from CGC Hall. So yeah. So for 350, you could have done better. My advice is hone up on your grading skills. Okay, that's a big part of doing well in this hobby as far as getting bargains is finding undergraded books, raw books. That's my strategy. I don't go out there and pay fair market value of anything unless it's something that extremely hard to find, but those are very few and far in between as far as what I will pay fair market value for. Oh, Harley. Oh, you bought from Harley Yee. Yeah. My number one rule, for those that know me very well, I do not buy from dealers, good or bad. Mm-mm. Ain't doing that. Ain't doing that at all, because that's not how I roll. I built my collection. I have a successful path of flipping for years now, and it's not from buying with the dealers. Buying with the dealers equal overgrade, equal overpaying, and paying retails, and I am not about to line any dealers' pockets. Dealers do not want dealers the dealers in general do not want to deal with me, because they know me. I'm no fool. I will call them out on their BS in a nanosecond. And I can tell you right now, 99% of the dealers out there, yeah, I'm using the word 99%, are overgraders. It's before I go, I just look at the clock, 9:27. Before I go, one of my biggest pet peeve on in this hobby is I have a lot of friends, acquaintances that love to buy from dealers, okay? That buy a lot from dealers. I hear this all the time. So and so, great dealers, friendly guys, awesome to deal with, but he also overgrades on everything by at least one level, sometimes two levels. Really? That is awesome? Great dealers? Trust me, I hear this all the time from a lot of YouTubers. Yeah, you know who you are out there talking nonsense. Great dealers, awesome to deal with, yet overgraders. No, you don't get that pass with me. I don't line people's pocket like that. No, 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 no. Ain't gonna happen here. Uh, Before I go, Good As Gold said those deals are in for the most hurt in a downturn. No, this is one of the things that concern me with this hobby in this market is that a lot of dealers also buy things on debt. Okay, the stuff that you see on the walls are not paid for in many situations. Okay, so trust me, it does not help them that the books go down 20% when they are in debt. Okay, so I would not want to be in that business, that's for sure. All right, folks, thank you for tuning in. Glycine Airman, before I go, I see here a comment you said, I have been watching guys like Absolute with the same stock for 9 months at cons. Yeah, it's not gonna move. You know, the ultimate movement in price, as I talk about in another video, is what? Low prices. Low prices is the biggest motivator. Okay, dealers that are unrealistic with the market, that refuse to recognize that they are wrong, refuse to recognize that there is a downturn in the market, and yet like to show 5 copies of Hook One or whatever. Good luck. Okay, how does that help you? How does that help you sell your books? Does bragging about multiple copies on the walls gonna show you will help you sell the books in a down market? It's more like the buyer saying, hell no. Okay, my advice to people is those sellers that have multiple books on the wall, multiple copies, I wouldn't want to be them. Anyhow, folks, I don't want to talk too long. Anyhow, it's 9:31. Time for me to end the chat. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I might have another chat maybe at the end of the month. Hopefully at the end of the month, it will be a good chat because we have found the vaccine for the virus and the fear, the hysteria is over. Hopefully, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that the scientists are hard at work. I'm hopeful. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.